Hello guys, and welcome to the second part of the series about how I maintain my rose garden, looking beautiful through the summer months. If you haven't seen the first part, I will link it here above and in the description below, but I spoke about water and fertilizing, deadheading the spent flowers, train the new growth for climbers and stake the roses if they need it, and the last one, my favorite, is to go out, enjoy a day at the garden center, see what is new, and expand your collection if you find something that you like. Today I have a list of 7 tasks, so the first one is clean the dry canes and the blind stems. Here I have Rose Timeless Cream and I will cut off this dry cane to minimize the risk of introducing disease to the plants. Again, working with clean and disinfected pruners is essential. I am not sure how this dry stem got away in the spring when I was doing my pruning, but maybe it dried after that. On this occasion, you can also inspect your roses and cut any blind stems. By doing that, you will trigger the plant to produce more flowers. Looking closely at my roses, I noticed a lot of blind stems and I have done some research to find out what can be the cause. Usually it's because of the cold temperature in springs. Sudden cold snaps or extended cool weather during early growth can interrupt bud development. The rose might produce foliage but abort the flower buds if temperatures aren't optimal, but the weather has been quite nice here lately, so I cannot complain of too low temperatures. The second reason can be lack of light. Roses need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. In too much shade, they may grow stems that don't have the energy to produce buds. The third reason can be nutrient imbalance. Too much nitrogen can lead to lush foliage at the expense of flowers. Not enough phosphorus or potassium, which support bloom development, can also cause blind stems. The fourth reason can be overcrowding or poor air circulation. Dense growth can block light and airflow, stressing the plant and reducing flower production. And the fifth one can be immature or weak growth. Very young shoots or growth from newly planted roses may not be strong enough to produce blooms. And I did notice something like this on my cuttings that were successful. The next task is to keep the grass away from the roses and the edges looking tidy. I think the roses suffer a lot when they are surrounded by grass at the base, and it's better to keep on top of it and to not let it to cover the base of your rose. I see so many neglected roses that are not thriving, and what they have in common, they are all surrounded by grass. I went along the edge and I simply cut it with some large scissors. I know there are better tools for this one, but this is working for me now and it does the job. I have an episode coming out next week where I am showing how I am maintaining the grass edges next to the roses throughout my whole garden. So keep an eye for that one if you are interested to see more details. The next task is to ensure proper airflow and clear weeds. Believe it or not, I have a rose here somewhere. This is a climbing rose, it's called Ginger Syllabub. It's a slow grower for now and those plants are not helping at all. Roses like companion plants, but there is a limit because they don't like to fight for light and nutrients. Sometimes when the companion plants become invasive, we need to clear them away, especially if the roses are young. I finished by applying some fertilizer, the liquid seaweed, and this is how the area is looking when everything has been cleaned. Here I have Rose Boscobel. I just need to clear some weeds to cut the grass. I have some calendula that I can remove now because it's starting to show signs of powdery mildew. and I will take out some leaf that has some black spots. This flower bed looks a little bit neglected right now. Here I have planted Rose Othello and Rose Bliss Parfuma. Bliss Parfuma was a bare root this winter. Also here I have a type of sedum, a ground cover impossible to kill, and even more, it's thriving here and suffocating my roses. I also had in here an Azalea japonica that I took it out because it's highly toxic to dogs. All part of the plant, leaves, flowers, stems and nectar are toxic. Those toxins can affect the muscle, heart and nervous system. Even just a few leaves can be dangerous for small dogs, so it's better to have it out of the garden. I planted instead an eucalyptus, which I think will provide a nice variation in color and will provide interest having a different blue-green color. And I hope to be able to use this in my flower arrangement. I started by deadheading the rose and I noticed this stem was broken. So I think this is the moment when I've got inspired to create a flower arrangement based on what I was cleaning off from this flower bed. And I will show you how I'm making that flower arrangement at the end of this video. So I continue by cleaning the weeds, the sedum, and then I planted the eucalyptus. This is supposed to grow very tall, but my plan is to keep an eye on it and to watch the size and prune it every so often. In this flower bed I have one of my Olivia and my mystery rose that I think is called Garden Princess. Between them I had a lupin that started to look bad now and it already started to form seeds. I removed the lupin, cleaned the weeds and I planted some flowers that I still have in plugs, some statice, confrina, primrose and dwarf sunflowers. Here are some before and after from different areas from my garden. The fourth task for today is to inspect for pest and disease and take appropriate measurements. I still have aphids in my garden on some of my roses, and sometimes I just leave them alone, but I notice some roses really being affected by the aphids. When the buds open, they don't look okay, they look damaged. I noticed this in particular on my Chandos Beauty. I spray here with a neem oil solution, but I really like bug-free spray. This is a product based on pyrethrin or chrysanthemum extract, very powerful that will help you for sure to get rid of any bugs. The neem oil spray I prepare by mixing neem oil, castile soap, eucalyptus oil and peppermint oil and warm water. I spray at dusk when there is not too much activity in the garden. Here are the quantities for 1 gallon of water, that's 4 liters. Something very interesting I found on my Danihue. I'm not even sure how to describe it. It's a spiky growth on a bud that looks very gross. I remove it from the rose and I will make sure I will keep it away from my compost pile. Please comment down below if you've seen this on your roses or if you know what this could be. On another evening at the closer inspection, I found this guy on my roses. He was feeding on the rose buds. I took a photo and I searched it with Google Lens and it seems to be Vaporer moth caterpillar, also known as rusty tussock moth caterpillar. These can damage roses, although they are not a primary pest for roses. The fifth task is to propagate new roses. Now the stems are in perfect condition for this. In order to prepare your cuttings, take a fresh growth that hasn't become woody yet. Prepare the cuttings by removing 2 or 3 leaves at the base and leave 2 or 3 leaves at the top. You don't need too much to avoid water evaporation, but you do need to keep a few. The soil is very important in the sense that needs to be very free draining. Here I have some compost mixed with some grit. This is some old soil that I use in one of my succulent pots, and it does the job. I will place the cuttings at the edge of the pot. On top, I put a plastic bottle that I have cut the end off. I will make sure the cap is open and I will water every so often. Don't let them dry up and don't put them in direct sunlight. Other than that, just wait and let them do their magic. After they have grown some roots, move them in their individual pot and make sure you will water with half-strength fertilizer. When taking cuttings, please be cautious if the plant you are taking cuttings from is protected or not by the legal patent. Some examples of roses that are okay to take cuttings from are Iceberg, introduced in 1958, Peace, introduced in 1945, many heirloom old garden roses and species roses, the Fairy, Knockout Original, and many others depending on the release date. Usually a patent is valid for 25 years from the date was recorded. If a rose has a valid plant patent, it is illegal to propagate it unless you have a written permission from the breeder or patent holder, or you are a licensed grower. Examples of protected brands or series are David Austin roses, proven winners, also easy roses, Cordes, Meyand, Wicks, or Tantau variety released recently. If you want to check if a rose is protected or not, you can check the following. In the US, search for USPTO Plant Patent Database or check sites like helpmefind.com to see if a rose has an active patent. In Europe, use the CPVO database to check plant breeders' right. The third way is to look on the label. If the plant tag says propagation prohibited or includes a patent number like PP12345, it is protected. The next task on today's list is to observe what you like and you don't like in your garden. Another thing that I am doing this time of the year is observing and taking notes about which roses I like and which one I don't. I have a few on my blacklist that I am thinking of getting rid of. I don't show them too much because there is not too much to see, and one example is Claire Austin. I am preparing an episode about these roses, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. Here you can see Claire Austin. I absolutely love the flowers, the shape, the color, but this rose, it's looking like it's struggling in my garden, but I don't think it's worth it fighting, so I think I will let this one go. Another one that I'm not too sure about is You're Beautiful. I like the flowers when they open, but as soon after that, in a day or two, they will become so flat and they will stay like this and not age very nice. Also here at the base of the trellis, I have this rose that I received by mistake when I ordered a bare root this winter. So this one, although I like the color and it's something unique in my garden, it's not what I ordered and I don't like it so much, so I will not keep it. Those are just a few roses and my consideration about them, but it's worth it taking your time and analyze them now while they are in flower and make a decision if you want to keep them in your garden or not. Maybe you don't like the smell of the flowers, maybe you don't like the grow habit, maybe you don't like that they are not healthy enough. Whatever is the reason, now is the best time to observe and make a decision. And task number 7, the last one for today, is something that I truly enjoy, and that's making flower arrangement to bring inside. This particular one was inspired while I was doing some cleaning around my roses. I had a few beautiful cuttings that I couldn't toss in the compost pile, so I started putting together a little bouquet. Just combining things I thought will look nice together. The more you practice, the better you will get at it. And honestly, the goal isn't perfection, is to enjoy what you have in your garden. Bring that beauty indoor or share it with friends and family. That's all for today. I hope you learned something useful. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment and share to support the channel. And don't feel you need to do everything at once. Each of these tasks could easily deserve its own video. Just pick one and start showing some love to your roses, and I promise they will love you back. If I had to choose the most important tasks from these 2-episode series, I'd say is water and fertilizing. Of course, that depends on your climate and soil, but in general, roses thrive with consistent moisture and rich, healthy soil. If you want to see how I fertilize my roses quick and easy, you can watch the next episode right here. Until next time, happy gardening everyone!